everyone. Welcome back to our segment where today we're highlighting the American Legion, Local Post 46, and I'm joined by some special guests, so I'm going to ask them to introduce themselves in a minute. But in this segment, what we would like to do is recognize the color guard service that the American Legion has provided to the Flyer athletics and various school events for over 50 years. So let's start out today by introducing our guests. Michael, why don't you start?
Yes, thank you. I am Michael Schmidt. I am the commander of Post 46 here in Little Falls.
And I'm Bob Tomey, and I'm the chairman of the color guard and honor guards for all the funerals and football games and basketball games. And
Bill Osberg, past commander.
Bob Klosowski, I'm the Americanism chairman.
So Michael, let's just start out by talking a little bit about what's the difference between the American Legion and the VFW?
Sure. So the American Legion is a little bit a larger organization. Our acceptance of criteria is a little, so we allow all veterans and former service members to join the American Legion. Whereas in the VFW, you do have to qualify for the service with overseas service. That's the primary difference between the two. We have a lot of similar goals, and you're going to find a lot of people who are members of both organizations at the same time. So,
and so as the American Legion, you provide a color guard service and an honor guard service. And can you talk a little bit about the difference between the color guard and the honor guard?
well, the honor guard is basically for the funerals, and we'll have our colors, and we'll also do the firing and the bugle. We'll have a chaplain at a lot of them, and that's where their flags are presented to the family of the deceased. And the color guards are when we just have our colors and our guards, and we march in the parades, we do the football, basketball games, among other things like flag presentations of flagpoles at different places. Sure. It varies.
Lots, about 80 to 100 maybe a year that we do. Wow, that's incredible. And so let's talk a little bit about the history of the color guard with Little Falls schools. I mentioned earlier it goes back about a little over 50 years. Bob, were you there at that first one?
No, I wasn't. I've been on the color guard for about 20, 25 years, somewhere in that area.
So about half that time.
Yes, I am.
So that very first event you were mentioning earlier was a homecoming parade.
The very first event was a homecoming parade. At that time, John Saldine was involved with the Legion quite heavily here in town, and they asked him if they could march in the homecoming parade. And they did, and then following that, they started doing football games. And John Saldine, Jim Dreiling, and Ken Burgraff, those are the only three that Ken could remember, or the other guys who could remember. Of course, Jim is gone. But they did that for a few years. Then Wayne Lilligren got involved with it, and he did it for many years.
Sure.
And Bob Klosowski, he also got involved about that time. I've only been involved with it maybe 10 years. So.
Also Bob Mueller.
Oh yeah, Bob Mueller was also another one that was doing it. I guess he was still doing it when I started, maybe 10 years ago. So.
And we mentioned that you cover a lot of events, but from the American Legion's perspective, why is it important that you are involved in presenting the colors at these various events?
Me?
Sure.
The reason we like to show the people the flags, to make sure the kids know about the meaning of the American flag, that many people have fought for that flag. That's why we do it. I go around town, I'm always looking up at flags and make sure they're not torn and ripped. And if they are torn and ripped, I send them a little card to remind them about it, to replace it.
And I would first of all, just like to thank you for coming in and sharing a little bit about the American Legion today and talking with us about that history. And on behalf of the district, first of all, thank you for your service to the country, but then also thank you for your service over these many years providing the colors for our various events and activities and athletic competitions. It really means a lot. It's interesting, as the person who does the live streaming for the events, I get many compliments about how we try our very best to cover the presentation of the colors with the color guard before the game. And teams from out of town comment about how cool it is to have that going on at our events. And so I know it's meaningful to a lot of people that you do this and you provide that service. And so thank you for doing that. And thank you for coming in today and visiting with us about this.
There is one gentleman, I believe, was from Sauk Rapids. He's at every basketball game. And he'd always come down and thank us for doing it, and that we were the only city that in the conference at that time that actually had the color guard presenting the flag. So that made us feel good too.
Yeah, it doesn't happen very often. You don't see it in many places. So it's really a special treat for us here in Little Falls. So thank you very much. And thank you everyone for watching. Have a great day.